Hey, hello there. Let's talk about today's lead coding challenge question. Reverse words in a string. Given an input string, we want to reverse the string word by word. What does that mean? Let's look at the example. The sky is blue. The output should be blue is sky z. So it's not reverse the string as a whole, but rather to reverse the order of the individual words inside the string. So that leads to a very simple solution in 3 steps. The first thing is to tokenize this input string into a list of words. And the second thing is to reverse that list. So the last word become the first word become the last. The third thing is to use that list of words, reverse the list of words to construct a new string using empty space as padding between different words. So that's a 3-step solution to solve this problem. It will be, I guess, linear time and linear space. The problem with that is you can solve this with Python in one line, 3 function call, right? Split, reversed, and join. The problem is you might be asked to implement a split, implement reversed, and implement join. And then it still doesn't satisfy the requirement for this follow-up. You want to solve this using constant space. So for non-C programmers, this question may be rephrased as instead of a string, you get a character array. So it's going to be an array of individual characters. And the requirement is still that you want to solve this using constant space and linear time as well. So how do we approach this if we have this follow-up as a requirement? So if we want to solve this in constant space, the operation we can do is swap the values and also popping from the back. That's the only 2 constant operations we can allow to do for this problem. So how do we solve this? Let's look at this. So the input string is the sky is blue. So the desired output is blue is sky d. If we just do a full string reverse, we can do this by 2 pointers, one from the leftmost, one from the rightmost, and just swapping their values and moving them towards the middle. Once they meet each other, we basically swapped reversed the string as a whole. It will be EULB empty space, SI empty space, YKS empty space EHT. So we by reverse the whole string, we have the word order correct, but individual word needs to be reversed back. So then we can still have these 2 pointers. They're gonna start. Let me just comment here. 2 pointer reverse. And then then we're just gonna reverse individual word. How we do this? We're still gonna solve this by 2 pointers. We have a left pointer points to the beginning of a word, and then we have a right pointer that's moving towards right hand side. And once we hit the empty space, we reverse the characters in between. So it will become BLUE. After that, we move the left to the right +1. So and then keep moving the right pointer towards right until it reach a new empty space. Then we swap the string in between those to get to the to reverse each individual word in this fashion. So it will be 2 pass. The first pass is to reverse the whole string. The second pass is to reverse individual words. So that would be 2pass and constant space, because all we use is 2 pointers and swapping. That's when the input is relatively clean. The second example and third example introduce us to some more complexity here. The string can have leading and trailing spaces. Trailing space is easy to handle because we're just going to test the tail element, whether that's empty space or not. If it's empty space, we pop it out. So we can get rid of trailing space very easily. Get rid of the leading space is also easy. If we do reverse, then the first become the leading space become the trailing space. We can just do this constant pop back to remove those. So this is not too bad. We can use pop to get rid of a trailing space. The third example here says the space between different words can be multiple spaces. So we want to reduce the multiple space into a single space in the reverse string. This is a little bit tricky. How we're gonna do this is so the way we can solve this problem is we still do 2 pointers. So we can do a single pass through the string. Whenever we see an empty space, we put this left pointer towards the next position after that empty space, and then use the right pointer to keep moving. When the right pointer finds the first non-empty space character, it starts to keep track of the number of characters form a word. So as this example, it will move until the end here. So it keeps track of number of character here, or word length. In this particular example, it's 7. So once it's reached this position, it will swap left with right, subtract the length of the words, and then just moving that forward. So it's basically it will effectively become shifting this word to have that word only have one empty space between the previous word and this new word, this current word we're looking at. And then after that, we're gonna move the left pointer to the new position after this empty space. Keep moving right pointer to find the next word and shift that towards left. So we're doing this 1 pass, actually 2 pass, because the right pointer is 1 pass, the left pointer is also 1 pass, so it's effectively 2 pass. We can do this 2 pass to shift all those words towards left to remove the duplicated empty space between words. And after that, the input will become simple, so we can apply the get rid of the trailing space, and after that we can the input will be reasonably clean, so we can do the reverse and then reverse individual words to get the output to be correct. So yeah, every single thing here is 2 pointer and swaps. So it should be constant space. So let's code this thing up. It's actually quite some code here. Let me put some space here. So we're gonna comment the steps that we're gonna take to solve this problem. The first thing is to remove multiple spaces between words, and we can also actually by setting this left initial left to be the first character in the string, so that if it's empty space, we move the first word over there, so it's effectively getting rid of the leading space. So we would do that in this step as well. Remove multiple space between words. That's the first thing. The second thing is to get rid of trailing spaces. Third thing is to reverse the string, and last thing is to reverse individual word. This four steps. So let's remove multiple spaces between words. That's the first thing we do. We get our iterator that's starting as the beginning, and we initialize this left pointer that's also starting as the beginning. And then we're gonna move this iterator towards the first non-empty space character, meaning it's gonna be we find the starting position for the next word. Then we're just gonna try to move this right-hand side pointer towards the end of the string. Whenever the right-hand side it's pointing at the end of a word, we will shift that word to the starting position shift that word to start at the position where this left pointer is pointing at. So the thing we do here is we count the word lengths. Let's just call this word size 0, and we will move this. So right now, when this loop just to enter this, when the loop first started, the iterator basically is the right pointer in my illustration here is pointing at this E here. We want to then advance it to the end of the word. So that would be while this iterator is not pointing at neither the end or a empty space, that means we can still move this iterator towards the right hand side to try to reach the end of the current word it's looking at. So what we do is to of course increment it, and along with that we want to increase the size for the word. So after this while loop, the pointer, let's just rename it to IT, the iterator will point to this end of the word here. So we want to shift that towards left to have that word starting at the position where this left pointer is pointing at. So there are the number of characters inside this word, that many characters we want to shift. We do this shift by swapping, right? So swap the left, and the iterator subtract the length of the word. After we've done this swap, we move this left pointer towards right and decrease the size of the word because we have less number of characters we need to shift. So after this loop, it basically is, let's just do an illustration how this looks like. So let's say that L is here, and this is the iterator here, and iterator subtract the WS is it's here. So in the first iteration inside this loop here, it's gonna move the E over to this position, and then moving L towards right also, because WS is decreased by 1, so it's effectively moving this towards right by 1, and then the next iteration is gonna shift moving X over there. So yeah, pretty much that. After this while loop, second while loop, we shifted the current word towards left. So after that, the left will be actually pointing at this position. No, at this position, the end of the word. So the thing that we want to do is to the reason it's the end of the word, which is the empty space place, is that it starts here. You move it starts as the first location of the word, and it's shifted towards right by the length of the word. So it's to the tail, one extra position after the end of the word. So to make this the right position for the next word to start, we want to increment this as well after the while loop. So that's shifting the word towards right. We are not done yet, because after that we have to move the right pointer to the starting position of the, we want to move it over here. So that's by doing another while loop here. Yeah, so this is the code to shift the words toward, remove the multiple spaces between words by shifting. After that, we want to do this trailing space removal. It's a simple while loop. So while the last character is equal to empty space, then we want to pop it off. So that's this. After this while loop, the input string should be as clean as the sky is blue. So then we do a reverse. We move L to the beginning. We can actually just do a reverse. It's a simple while loop. So let's actually just do this. Do I have a right pointer? No. I couldn't redefine it, right? So while this two pointer iterator haven't meet in the middle, we want to swap their character. And then we move them towards middle. So that's to reverse the string. Then the number 4, the fourth step is basically looking at the string, looking at the reversed string, and try to reverse the individual words inside it. So let's do this. Move this iterator back to the beginning, and then I will do a full loop. So this time we are scanning. We have the left pointer points left iterator pointing at the start of the word. We want to use the iterator to find the right hand side, pointer or iterator, finding the first space after the left pointer. And anything that's in between, we want to reverse it. So let's use right, because right is more readable. Yeah, so I should actually rename this to right. I don't know why I call this iterator. Yeah, so the condition is that if this right pointer is currently iterator is currently pointing at the empty space, that's the time we want to do a reverse. So this time, because we already coded up this reverse, I'm just gonna call the reverse function from a built-in reverse. So we want to reverse the portion that's between left and right. Right hand side is actually exclusive, so it's reversing the part between L and R minus 1. So it's reversing the word. And after we do the reverse, we want to move this L towards the right plus 1, because the right plus 1 is the starting for the next word. And yeah, otherwise every iteration we still have to, we basically just, so it's a for loop, so I don't need to do that. Yeah, so that looks like it. So yeah, so one last thing is the last word don't have an empty space. So if this right pointer is actually equal to the end iterator, then well, I also want to do the reverse. Otherwise, the last word will not be reversed. Yeah. So with this, it should be good. Let's try run it. Error. Okay. Line 65. I should be missing some parentheses actually, or brackets. I thought I'm in place, so I shouldn't be really return anything. No, I should return the string. Still error. Okay, this time it's not that. Reverse. Why this is not working? Okay. It's not swap. Swap, it's swapping value. A reverse is two iterators. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, the output seems okay. Let's throw some more example here with leading and trailing empty space. Also multiple empty space between individual words. Yeah, it looks okay. Okay, it's accepted. It's a lot of code, but I guess this is what the problem is supposed to be. It's a tester for two-pointer operations. It's not a split, reverse, and join. It's not that easy. Yeah, that's this question today. If you're using other languages other than the C-based family language, I guess you could just try to modify the question input type as a character array and try to practice this. Uh, because in actual interview, if your language is not C, they would just, instead of giving you a string, they will give you an array of characters. So you still have to do this. Yeah, that's this question today.